All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for yet another Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reaction and review. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reaction and review. Last chapter we got... Yeah, we had Gojo in the afterlife, speaking to every significant person that died, and we cut to the present to see that Gojo has been Yamamoto'd, if you will, where his entire upper torso was cut off for the rest of his body, and he just lay there dying, much to the horror of everyone. And as Sukuna is basically saying, like, I'll remember you forever, because we come to find out that that slash he used against Gojo was a test so that he could replicate it and thus use it against Gojo to pretty much cut through his inviolability, pretty much cut through the limitless and thus hit Gojo in the process. So Gojo has been pretty much killed by Sukuna, and not even a moment is wasted as we get Hajime Kashimo, who's speeding his way over to Sukuna right now. So, wow, we actually pick up again. Okay, so let's just read out the title for this chapter. Chapter 237, Inhuman Makyo Shinjuku Showdown Part 14. I thought we were done with the Shinjuku Showdown title names, but we're continuing. And we have Hajime coming in through the air towards Sukuna, and as he's looking up, he goes, "Here they come." Far above Kashimo, who had jumped from 203 meters above ground, appeared a giant block of ice and the frozen star known as Uraume. Uraume is on this gigantic, almost meteorite-shaped piece of rock, frozen piece of ice, as it's falling towards where Sukuna is. Because you know she's got to be there for her master. But as that's happening, someone appears behind Uraume, and she goes, "Someone's above me? Sorry, but I made a promise, so I gotta stop you." "That's news to me. Ice formation. Domain expansion. Yep, it sure is." Hakari's domain captured Uraume, but the block of ice continued to fall. And he gets closer and closer to Sukuna. But he just puts his hand up, and the ice just turns into regular water above Sukuna as he puts his hand up. And then it just turns to water and rains down around him. And it just hits the ground around him, like, just think Neo versus Smith, where it's just tons of water everywhere, just hitting the ground everywhere. As Hajime thinks, the ice was merely a means of delivery. In exchange for a desperate binding vow, Yorozu had constructed the item that appeared from within the melting block of ice. Cursed Tool, Supreme Martial Solution. Its effect was strangely... And it's this new tool. In exchange for a desperate binding vow, Yorozu had constructed the item that appeared from within the melting block of ice. So Sukuna has his own little binding vow item, which is interesting. It's interesting. Its effect was strangely, and then the ground in front of Sukuna just explodes upwards, it seems like. No, something comes down and hits the area in front of Sukuna, I believe where Hajime was trying to get to him at. Just like old times. And he's holding it in his hands. We still don't know the effects of Supreme Martial Solution. And Sukuna is surprised to see that Hajime is completely fine. The characteristics of Kashimo's cursed energy provide resistance to electricity. Sukuna, did you become the strongest sorcerer? Or were you born that way? Beats me, but I bet I was a creepy kid. If you've never known weakness, how can you interact with others or ever show kindness? I couldn't do it. Others were brittle clods of earth to me. So tell me, must strength be lonely? Are the strong cursed to wander in search of limitless power? Greedy bastard. Satoru Gojo was like that too. I'll tell you, so bring it on, departed spirit. And then Hajime just smiles, and he rushes Sukuna. And he's holding his staff in his hands, and he tries to bring it down, but Sukuna just blocks it with the supreme martial solution. And they just continue to clash with each other. And then Hajime goes, technique release, Mythical Beast Amber. And Hajime speeds up before Sukuna can do anything, because Sukuna's face still hasn't fully healed yet. Both of his eyes on the left side of his face is still closed. So he's not able to dodge the punches that Hajime barrages him with. And then Sukuna jumps away, but Hajime breathes deeply, and it looks like cursed energy is building in his mouth. And Hajime's face kind of contorts as if cursed energy was enveloping his mouth, and it turns into like this big opening, and he screams forward, and there's an explosion at the point of Sukuna's location. You don't see a beam come out, but you see just this shockwave. You see the resulting impact that hits Sukuna. And Sukuna jumps backwards going, well, that was loud. And then we get the explanation of what Kashimo is doing. Mythical Beast Amber reconstructs flesh in order to manifest phenomena that Kashimo converts from cursed energy. So it's not just cursed energy is enveloping his mouth. He's literally using cursed energy to transform his face into that, I guess, sound cannon that he just hit Sukuna with. And then it shows Sukuna seeing a clawed hand, Kashimo's clawed hand right in front of him, which he dodges out of the way. But Kashimo hits him again with the sound, which causes Sukuna to brace up, but not enough to where he can withstand another punch from Kashimo again, and he gets sent flying. Improved agility due to increased activity of electric signals in the brain. Sound waves that optimize and attune to the natural frequencies of substances. Electromagnetic waves that vaporize irradiated objects. Kashimo's body manifests these phenomena and has passed beyond the human realm. But after completion of this cursed technique, Kashimo's flesh collapses. And then it shows, something making its way, Kashimo launching a wire towards, like, this electric line towards Sukuna, and the whole area where Sukuna is just implodes. Sukuna has a way to repair flesh only once. Besides reverse curse technique, he can do so by resuming transformation, as a curse taking fleshly form, which he had purposefully interrupted before, as it shows Sukuna taking his original appearance from 1,000 years ago. Remember the original appearance of Sukuna? Not the visage he took on when he was in Yuji's body, but his appearance, where he had like a face and then the other side of his face was like contorted upwards with various eyes, and he has 4 arms. Sukuna has taken on his appearance from his original appearance, before he became a vessel, before his fingers got split up all over the world. How much of an impact is Kashimo inflicting on the Sukuna for Sukuna to take his original form? Mind you, this is still Megumi's body, but he's forced a transformation. He's transformed himself into being a cursed form again. Not a human form, but a curse form now. He's gone back to that form. Interesting. And this shocks Kashimo because he's looking. And Sukuna's transformed. So, Also has a mouth on his stomach. Is that a mouth? Is that a mouth on his stomach? What in the world? Or is that just like, is that a mouth on his stomach, or maybe just like a dark mark? I wouldn't be surprised if that's a mouth on his stomach. Sukuna's weird. Let me see what you got. That's the end of the chapter. Let me see what you guys have said. So he's a demon to begin with. He's a curse. Okay, so the history of Sukuna is... Let me see. Let's see. According to legend, Sukuna was an imaginary demon during the Heian era, but in truth he was a sorcerer, also known as the Disgraced One. Jujutsu sorcerers of the Golden Age of Jujutsu gave their all against him, but ultimately fell one after another. Sukuna existed throughout the ages by transforming into a cursed object after death. So he used to be human before. He used to be human, but because he was so strong, even in death, he still lived on, and thus became the king of curses. Sukuna existed throughout the ages by transforming into a cursed object after death, a state where he split his power into 20 indestructible fingers. That just tells you how powerful he is if his fingers are indestructible. Also, that one little lightning bolt Kashimo sent at Sukuna caused that much of a big explosion. That's scary. Yeah, it is. It is. It's just like, I thought, like, what is that going towards Sukuna? Then I saw the big explosion. It's like explosive wire that you see in the movies. So he was one of the original sorcerers. Let's see. He was born during the Heian period. He's over 1,000 years old. Like his original appearance from 1,000 years ago, this is the form that Sukuna is taking right now. Because it has the picture. Like his original appearance, his current appearance in Megumi's body, his appearance from 1,000 years ago in the manga, and description in Gojo's description of Sukuna from 1,000 years ago, which is pretty much what he looks like right now. That is where he's gone back to. His past appearance is described as a demon with 4 arms and 2 faces. Previously, he used to take the appearance of his former host Yuji Itadori, but with pink spiked hair slightly pushed upwards, with tattoo lines on his forehead, nose, cheeks, upper body, and abdomen. He also has a second pair of eyes underneath his normal eyes, which are usually closed. Yeah, he's been around for a hot minute. And now he's gone back to his original appearance from 1,000 years ago. I honestly think this is concerning. Sukuna has been holding back the shape of his soul in Megumi to keep the shape of Megumi's soul. Now he pushes the shape of his soul, and his body will follow that shape. Yeah, it kind of works that way. Because didn't we get an example of that from Mahito? With his idol transfiguration, you manipulate the soul of someone, and thus you're able to manipulate that person as well. If I'm remembering idol transfiguration correctly. Or am I just, I'm thinking of Mahito's ability to manipulate his soul, and thus being able to manipulate his own body, not just people that he affects. So he was the one that sealed him. Don't tell me it was Gojo's. So, let me see. Heian period was a golden age of Jujutsu sorcery. He has to be from what you're saying, if my speculation is getting. So he was the one that sealed him. Don't tell me it was the Gojo bloodline. We don't know how Sukuna was beaten 1,000 years ago. We just know that somehow his so-called indestructible fingers were cut off and then just split off that way. So Kashimo can destroy the terrain using compatible sound waves or destroy objects already affected by his cursed energy with electromagnetic waves. He might have actually obliterated Sukuna without Maharaga. See, the thing that worries me is the fact that even though Sukuna is getting hit by all of this, his trump card for healing his body, because mind you, it says that Sukuna has a way to repair flesh only once besides reverse curse technique. So Sukuna taking this appearance is a one-time deal for him to heal himself without using reverse curse technique. But that only means that he can do so by resuming transformation as a curse-taking fleshly form, which he had purposefully interrupted before. So my thing is, all the times that Gojo was going up against Sukuna and hitting him over and over and over again, he's been using reverse curse technique and held back trying to transform to heal himself. We don't know the drawbacks of him accessing his old former appearance from 1,000 years ago, nor do we know what are the upper limits of Sukuna when he's resuming his King of Curses. I want to call this his King of Curses appearance, because that's what he's been known as all this time. But I dare say that this appearance for Sukuna is his King of Curses look. So now he's in his King of Curses state. Kashimo can render any phenomenon that is caused by electricity. I feel like he will do something insane. Think about how many things are powered by electromagnetism, or electric currents that course through the brain or course through the body. Literally, your nervous system functions off of electric signals and your synapses, everything significant. So Kashimo, matter of fact, let's look up Kashimo real quick. Hajime Kashimo. Because y'all know I love looking up the powers of different individuals in this entire series. So, if we go down to his curse technique, electrified cursed energy. Hajime is one of the strongest players in the Culling game and likely possesses immense reserves of cursed energy. His cursed energy has the properties of an electric current, putting his body in a constant state of electrification. So that's already a benefit. You can't touch him unless you got cursed energy of your own, because he's literally a living lightning bolt. This makes Hajime's cursed energy reinforced physical attacks impossible to defend against, as his hits shock the opponent upon impact. He's a living electric fence. You can't touch him. Lightning discharge. Manipulating the characteristics of his cursed energy allows Hajime to freely separate its electric charges. By applying the positive charge to his target immediately, Hajime can discharge the negative charge without losing any electricity to the ground. This results in a powerful lightning strike that rends the air and is guaranteed to hit without the need for domain expansion. Let me say that again. What Hajime can do with his lightning discharge can make it a guaranteed hit without the need of a domain expansion. After discharging his attack, Kashimo needs to recharge before he can fire it again. And his innate curse technique is currently unknown. He purposefully abstains from activating it because it may only be used once, and Hajime wants to use it against Sukuna, which I believe we just found out what it is today. Mythical Beast Amber. Because the drawback for this is, after completion of this curse technique, Kashimo's flesh collapses, which stands to reason that this is in fact the his innate curse technique that he has. Mythical Beast Amber, which reconstructs flesh in order to manifest phenomena that Kashimo converts from cursed energy. You know, shape-shifting his body so it can have claws on his hands for additional melee damage, or reshaping his face so it can fire unblockable sound waves at his target. And also be able to still use his electricity discharge, which is capable of major damage to Sukuna to the point where he needs to transform back into his King of Curses state without using reverse curse technique. So I think we just learned what the curse technique for Hajime. I kept wanting to say Hajime or Kashime. Okay, I bet it was a female that distracted Sukuna and got ambushed and cut off them crusty fingers. I would not know. But one thing, we was giving Hakari a good run for his money with just manipulating of his cursed energy. He's a beast. He really is. He really is. The only thing that saved Hakari from Hajime was Hakari hitting jackpot with his own domain expansion, which just not only healed him, but also gave him pretty much unlimited cursed energy for a set amount of seconds. And every single time he was able to hit jackpot, not only would his techniques refresh, but his domain would refresh. And it could just go on an infinite loop if he kept hitting jackpot, which is the reason why he was able to survive fighting against Hajime. Because had it not been for the benefits of Hikari's very own domain expansion benefits, he would have lost to him. Way ahead of time. I think Kashimo still has got stuff in his bag. I believe so as well, because what he's shown is impressive, but as one of the strongest during the Edo period, I think he has more to show. Of course, one of the strongest players in the entire Culling game that encompasses a great deal of Japan already. And he's like a former sorcerer from back then when they all knew Sukuna. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not the last we've seen of anything major on the side of Hajime. I feel like Sukuna needed to get this full heal, or else Kashimo may have erased him with those palm blasts. We saw Sukuna tank the Thunder Sound Blast, but he narrowly dodged the pulse from Kashimo's palm. Very narrowly. I think Kenjaku and Sukuna have kept the soul shape of the vessel in order to use their techniques. Maybe since Sukuna is his original form, he can't use 10 shadows. That's the one thing to think of. If he's transformed his body to no longer be like that of Megumi, does that mean he's pretty much put himself back at it in his original King of Curses state and therefore locked himself out of using 10 shadows? That's a very interesting question. He was giving Hakari a good run from with Kashimo, he has to hit you, but once he hits you, he doesn't need domain expansion to get a sure hit. Yeah, all he needs is just to touch you, and thus you are permanently charged so that anytime he fires off an electric discharge, which we just read about, he's going to guarantee hit you. So one thing that makes this even scarier for Hajime, on Hajime's side, is the fact that, one, we are just now learning what is possibly his innate technique, which is Mythical Beast Amber, which allows him to use electricity to reshape his body. The only thing is, when the technique is done, his body collapses. It just specifically, it doesn't just say that his body collapses. It says his flesh collapses. Because that puts another idea in your mind. If you say, the body collapses, well, he just passes out and he's asleep. But when you hear flesh collapsing, it makes you think, what does that look like? Not only that, but we still don't have Hajime's very own domain expansion yet. A lot of these characters haven't shown their own domain expansions, especially quite a few of these old resurrected sorcerers from the age of Sukuna 1,000 years ago. So we haven't seen that. But Hikari, let's not forget about Hikari right now. He's taking care of Uraume. He's taking care of her, so that way she doesn't interfere with the fight between Hajime and Sukuna himself. So what is really interesting is that Sukuna felt the need to return to his old 1,000-year-old form for a free one-off heal. So it makes you wonder, does this make Sukuna stronger, or does it make him weaker? Oh yeah, once his curse technique ends, his body is collapsing and breaking down. He's literally going to die from this. I mean, when you're coursing electricity through your body to force a transformation, I don't imagine your body is just going to reconstitute itself with electricity and then you're just fine. If he doesn't know reverse curse technique and is capable of using that on top of his electricity, I mean, it stands to reason that Hajime may be on borrowed time. But I'm also speaking ahead of myself and we have no idea. I agree that using this type of full incarnation may disable the original body's technique. Also, that most incarnated sorcerers just let that happen off rip because they know their own techniques best. Yeah, you're right. I mean, sure, you can inhabit the body of an unknown individual, but if you go back to the body, or at least put yourself in the path of bringing your body back to the way it was when you could use your technique at its absolute best, of course, a resurrected sorcerer would then put themselves in that way. Speaking of that, I'm also excited for the Hikari fight because I want to see what Uraume has because she's Sukuna's servant for a reason. Yeah, because she's using ice formation. She uses ice formation against Hikari, and Hikari uses his own domain expansion. Like I said, if Hikari is able to hit his jackpot inside of his domain expansion, Uraume really doesn't stand a chance. Can I just say that? Because the benefits, matter of fact, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to do a deep dive on Hikari's very own domain expansion. Where is it? Hikari. I'm trying to go up the list here so I can. There it is, Kinji Hikari, and go down to his very own curse technique. And he has rough cursed energy. And right here, Idle Death Gamble. That is the domain expansion of Hikari. A pachinko-themed domain expansion that creates an environment resembling a train station that hosts a game of chance. Kinji's primary goal is to line up 3 of the same number to hit a jackpot with only a 1 out of 239 chance of doing so. So, when that happens, when he hits that jackpot, he has what is called his unkillable mode. Hitting the jackpot of Idle Death Gamble grants Kinji a bonus of unlimited cursed energy for 4 minutes. I thought it was seconds, but it's 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The exact duration of the Private Pure Love Train theme song, Admiring You, which plays throughout the round. The limitless cursed energy causes Kinji's body to reflectively use reverse curse technique to automatically heal any injury, making him temporarily unkillable after hitting a jackpot. Which is why I gotta go back to here with Uraume. If Kinji hits his jackpot, when Kinji hits his jackpot, Uraume is incapable of killing him. But we don't know how strong Uraume is. I'm not gonna write her off at all and say, like, oh, she's not gonna beat Kinji, because we don't know what she can do. Being a servant of Sukuna that he remembers even from way back in the day. Being the one person that Sukuna, you know, just casually talks to without feeling like, you're getting on my nerves, I'm gonna kill you instantly. Uraume is strong in her own right, so we don't even know what all of Uraume can do. Now I gotta look her up. Yeah. Cursed user from 1,000 years ago who is a direct subordinate to Sukuna. They align themselves with Kenjaku to seal Satoru Gojo and revive Sukuna. Ah, gender unknown. Okay, we'll just refer to Uraume as they. Yeah, we'll just refer to them as they until something gets told to us. Because it's kind of left ambiguous. Great cursed energy, possesses high imposing levels of cursed energy, and is extremely adept at controlling it. Not only does Uraume control their powerful innate technique with elite finesse, but they're even capable of manipulating their cursed energy and reverse cursed energy, something very few sorcerers can accomplish. Also a master of applying cursed energy in its based form, and using it to steal their body. By reinforcing their hands with cursed energy, Uraume was able to partially block Choso's piercing blood and completely brushed aside Momo Nishimiya's wind scythe. So, Uraume's cursed innate technique is ice formation. Gives them the abilities to create and manipulate ice. Can range from small to large quantities depending on the desired utilization. So we have Frost Calm, which basically just channels a cloud of freezing mist from their mouth and blows it towards their opponent. Freezing mist materializes into large chunks of ice and frost to ensnare the opponent. This technique was shown to be especially effective against groups of people, instantly freezing an entire squad of sorcerers in place. And then afterwards, we have Icefall, which is, after covering their hand in frost and touching the ground, Uraume can generate a large amount of spike ice that can be controlled to float telekinetically through the air like shards. The ice freezes its target on impact and rains down sharpened icicles to skewer them as well. This attack is extremely deadly, nearly subduing a group of targets all at once. And then, of course, Uraume has reverse curse technique. And according to the Jujutsu Kaisen official fanbook, they have been sticking to Sukuna since 1,000 years ago. They are a human who is allowed to stand beside Sukuna just because their cooking is delicious. Naturally, because they are a sorcerer too. They are a cook. Sukuna eats people, but cooking them is difficult. Among humans who had that kind of experience, Uraume has excellent talent. I did not know that Sukuna ate people. I learned something new today, and I'm contemplating on whether I regret it or not. Sukuna was eating people, and Uraume was his cook. If I was in the Jujutsu Kaisen world, what abilities would I like to have? Limitless, of course. Teleportation, the ability to stop anything from hitting me. Telescopic vision, the ability, along with the sixth eyes, the ability to see cursed energy, even if I was blindfolded. Limitless would be fun to have. A close second would probably be... the abilities of Naya Zenin, Naya Zenin, or even Heavenly Restriction. No cursed energy at all, but just so much raw physical power that it wouldn't even matter. So either the Limitless in 6 Eyes or Heavenly Restriction. Either one of those two. Takaba's technique is very fun. Ooh, that's a good one. That's actually a good one. That's actually, that, if you think about it, his power is capable of being on the same level as Gojo's. Let me explain. See, when it comes to Takaba's curse technique, we don't even know the fullest extent of it, but if he thinks something is going to be funny, it becomes real. So if he thinks him being healed from injuries that would normally kill him would be something people would laugh at, he heals from it. This man has slight reality warping. His curse technique is slightly reality warping, if capable. If he applied himself and perfected it, this man could have power that is capable of rivaling Gojo on a level of strength as far as curse techniques go. Because he's essentially just manipulating reality, all for the sake of something being funny. If he finds the main villain's death funny and people will laugh at it, it has that capacity. Yet at the same time, we know next to nothing about its fine mechanics, its drawbacks, and even his own domain expansion. He's a failed comedian with a power that is ridiculous that he has yet to fully harness. Takaba's curse technique is actually quite interesting. I hope we see more of him. Look what happened to Gojo last week. Look, you said, like, if I was in the Jujutsu Kaisen world, what abilities would I like to have? I mean, I would like to have the Limitless. It would be nice. But at the same time, I don't want to go up against no Sukuna, though. I would like to have Limitless. It would be fun. But all without having to go up against Sukuna. Because I saw what happened. I was there. Y'all saw my distraught face from the last chapter we got. Basically, Sukuna used his incarnation's bodies before his own because he's masterful enough to get by with basically any skill set, while other incarnate souls rely on their technique and knowledge. Let's see. You like Toji? Having Higuruma's ability would be interesting. Who's Higuruma again? Hold on. Higuruma. Hiromi. Oh, the defense. Oh, that's his name. I keep forgetting him. I keep calling him the lawyer guy. I'm sorry. It's just that over the years, when you're remembering so many names from different series so many times, people's first and last names from different series, you don't remember every single person. I like his curse technique. I like his. Great cursed energy, judge man, deadly sentencing. Possesses a curse technique that allows him to conjure a large Shikigami with a black body that has 3 stub points that act as 2 arms and a leg. Each arm holds a scale, and the Shikigami's white face has eyes that are sewn shut. Let's see, has the ability to speak and is apparently impatient. And his curse tool is a gavel. And then his domain expansion is basically just a courtroom. Like, it's a long description. It's like describing a court case. It's like describing a court case, and going through every single one of these would actually take a hot minute. So his curse technique is actually quite interesting. Let's see. Also, what do we think Takaba is doing right now as of the Suku Gojo fight and its conclusion? Is he just gathering and protecting random CG players? I don't know. See, we don't have an account for pretty much every single person. I do think Higuruma's a domain expansion will be used on Sukuna or Kenjaku eventually. I honestly feel like Higuruma's domain expansion would definitely be useful against them, because if their deadly sentencing has, let me see. Okay, let's see. Usage. Prosecutor also had 1 chance to make a statement. Once One sentence the judgment will commonly give is confiscation, which prevents them from being able to use cursed techniques. After the verdict, the domain dispels and the punishment immediately affects the guilty party. So, if judgment judges them and says confiscation, then the person affected by this is unable to use their cursed techniques at all. However, if the defendant is found guilty without an open confession, they can request a retrial that judgment cannot deny. Once the prosecution and defense have both made their statements, judgment will deliver a lawful verdict. If the defendant is found guilty, they are punished with one of what is implied to be several different sentences. Not even the user can be sure of which sentence their opponent will receive. In some situations, depending on the severity of the crime, harsher punishments can be handed out. But we haven't seen the fullest extent of the domain expansion of Higuruma. Nanami is another one you would like to have because it reminds you of Buggy. And I find it funny. Oh yes, use that on Sukuna. He would be, yeah, using the judicial system on Sukuna. Are you guilty of consuming all these people? Are you weak? Are you strong? And then you have, I mean, we've only seen like one real verdict. One real verdict was, wait, never mind. We got some examples right here. So we got confiscation, which is a judgment. Temporarily makes it impossible to use cursed techniques. If the target does not possess an innate technique, the effect switches to preventing the use of cursed energy. Confiscation is usually an additional punishment that accompanies another sentence. So on top of you getting a sentence, you also get confiscation. So not only are you unable to use cursed energy or use cursed techniques at all, but you also have an additional one. So confiscation and death penalty. The most severe sentence judgment can give is the death penalty accompanied by confiscation. If you're dead, I don't think it really matters if your cursed energy is sealed or you're unable to use cursed techniques or not because you're dead. Death penalty first, and then you get stuff taken from you? You die, and then you get your cursed techniques sealed? First, confiscation removes the guilty party's ability to use cursed techniques and then grants the user the executioner's sword. Ah, there it is. Executioner's sword. Empowered to execute the death penalty, the user's gavel transforms into the executioner's sword. Without exception, anyone cut by the executioner's sword will die immediately. It is instant death. It is the Avada Kedavra of cursed techniques, of cursed attacks. Theoretically, and this is a mega hype, mega cope theory, but Higuruma could disable Sukuna's techniques, allowing Yuji to truly go hand to hand with his main villain. That's one way it could be done. That's one way. It's an interesting theory, though. But we'll have to see. We're not going on break after this chapter. It clearly doesn't say that we're going on break after this. So we're going to get the next chapter next week. Should be interesting. Let me not keep you here any longer than I already have. Like, there are many broken side characters you wish we saw more Higuruma and Takaba. Hopefully we'll see more of them again, because even though they may not seem like the type who are incredibly physically capable of keeping up with the likes of Sukuna and such, their cursed techniques, by all means, are more than capable of posing a threat due to their own power. Yet at the same time, we also have to remember that the level of power of a cursed technique user's domain expansion really does affect whether or not their domain expansions or their cursed techniques will actually work on Sukuna. I mean, we saw this multiple times with Gojo trying to use Unlimited Void on Sukuna, and Sukuna kept breaking out of it using Malevolent Shrine. Because remember, Malevolent Shrine is a domain expansion that can affect another user's domain expansion from the outside. It's not like an actual domain expansion itself, but really an expansion that operates in real space. Which is why Unlimited Void kept dissipating, because Sukuna was capable of dispelling it from the outside, because that's what Malevolent Shrine can do. So you kind of got to think about that as well. So sure, the domain expansion for Higuruma could work, but then you got to think about Malevolent Shrine destroying it from the outside. That's just another thing. But let's see. I hope Remy is okay. Scorpion hair lady that ran into Megumi. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But let me go ahead and bring it to a close here, ladies and gentlemen. I got to set up for my stream for Cyberpunk and Phantom Liberty so we can finish Phantom Liberty so that we can get started and focus on nothing but Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales for this month. Yeah, to counter Higuruma, we haven't seen the domain expansion from Takaba. Yeah, but we still need to keep an eye out because you never know with Sukuna. He literally just pulled out his ancient 1000, his millennium-old form from back in the day to counteract someone injuring him in order for him to get like a free heal without using reverse curse technique. So even despite all that, we still gotta watch out for what else Sukuna can do. As for barrierless domains, I'm hoping that Yuta will be able to copy that and fight against Malevolent Shrine. Hajime did say he was going to be the first person up. Who said they were going to be next up after Hajime? That's the question. But we got to see where things go from here. Yeah, Sukuna is very unpredictable. Exactly. He's very unpredictable. So I am not in the field of trying to say like, oh, Hajime's got him on the ropes, Sukuna's got him on the ropes. We are just going to see what Sukuna can do because we still don't know Sukuna's innate curse technique. Like, yeah, we still don't know what his innate curse technique is. It is currently unknown what Sukuna's curse technique is. He was first shown to use his cursed energy to perform invisible slashes. This is an ability of what his innate curse technique can do, I'm guessing. But we don't know what the actual innate curse technique is. We don't know what it actually is. So hopefully, with Sukuna going back to his ancient four-armed, disfigured demon form, I want to say, hopefully we get to find out what that is in this fight with another ancient sorcerer from the Heian period. So it should be interesting. But I'm done. I spent enough time on both My Hero and Jujutsu, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Jujutsu has in store for us next week. To everyone here, Grizzle Boy, and pretty much every single person that was talking to me, this Grizzle Boy, who else was here? Calzone, Halster, CDs, thank you, everybody, for stopping by while I reacted to the newest chapter of Jujutsu. It was great, and it just makes me wonder, oh, we haven't seen everything that Sukuna has done, and that makes me excited, because we get to see more power from some extremely OP Jujutsu sorcerers in this story. But I'm done. I got to get set up for Cyberpunk. So, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, then do these things because not only are they free, but they also help my channel grow. Like, subscribe, and share this stream with everyone you know because the more the merrier. And because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!